Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to episode 2, take 2 of the double E, 2 E's. We have to re-record the second episode because we had some technical difficulties. So, yeah, we will be starting off this segment with soccer
No.
today instead of hockey because the hockey segment is intact. So that will be etched at the back of the video if you're interested. But without further ado, let's dive into the world of soccer.
All right. So starting it off, we've got the U17 World Cup. Like I've said 3 times, right? But
Yeah, I'm going
like
to
I
be
said,
smiling a lot because I've heard this.
yeah. If you see us having a massive grin on our face, it's because we've recorded this three
Three
times.
times. This
Three
is literally
times.
the third time
So
that we're
don't be
hearing this.
surprised. Yeah, don't be
Yeah.
surprised if we're not very amused this time around. But
Yeah.
just to recap, Morocco beat New Caledonia 16-0, right? Big
Mhm.
scoreline. This is another youth squad that you should be watching out for. Morocco, like I said, they've had people come up from the ranks of like Ashraf Hakimi and Yassine Bono, the amazing goalkeeper who had an amazing tournament last season. Um, and another surprising team, North Korea. No one thought that they'd be that good. Politics aside, don't want to go in that direction. But who thought that they'd beat Mexico, right? I mean, just another example of an underrated youth squad that you should watch out for. And not just North Korea, but South Korea, England, Brazil, USA, Argentina, Portugal, Spain. So just watch out for some teams like that and any of the players, because don't be surprised that they're in like the top 5 leagues in about 5 years, because they'll be 21 or 22 years old. So moving on from that, we got the MLS playoffs this weekend. Messi hit 400 assists. Good for him. He is 3 assists away from becoming the highest assister of all time. So something to
Nice.
watch out for.
Congratulations in advance.
Mm-hmm. The quarterfinals matchup, we got San Diego and Minnesota, Vancouver and LA, Philadelphia and New York City FC, and Miami versus Cincinnati. So I'm just going to give you my predictions, a real quick rundown of who I think should win the entire MLS. San Diego and Minnesota. San Diego, I'm going to give it straightforward. I think it's going to be San Diego. It's their first season ever in the MLS, and they've got Chucky Lozano, Anders Dreyer, amazing players. A shame that Anders Dreyer didn't make the MVP list right there, or at least he didn't win it. But he did win Newcomer of the Year. I mean, he's got like 32 goals and assists, which is nuts. But other than that, I'm gonna give it to San Diego. Next, we got Vancouver and LA. This could be the final in itself. Amazing squads. I mean, you've got Heung-min Son and Denny Bouanga on one side, and you got Brian White, Sebastian Berhalter, and Thomas Muller on the other side. But I mean, Vancouver kind of struggles with injuries, so I think I'm going to give the slight edge over to LA. Also, they're proven in the playoffs and they go really far. But yeah, I'm gonna give it to LA. Next, we have Philadelphia and New York City FC. Like I said, I hope Philadelphia beats New York. I mean, New York has a really good balanced team in the midfield, attack, and defense also. But I think that back line, like once it's unstable the entire match. Philly, they have a really good attack, really good talent. They've got Kevin Sullivan, the 15-year-old, who signed for Man City. Doesn't officially play for them yet, but once he reaches 18, he will be there. But I'm gonna give it to Philly. I think they have a pretty solid team, to be honest. But any team could win that game. I'm gonna be honest with you. Miami and Cincinnati. So Miami historically in the playoffs hasn't been that good. And last year, well, I'll give it to you straight. In the Messi era, they've made it to the playoffs once, and that was last year, and they got knocked out in the first round. Their defense was atrocious, the worst defense you could possibly see. But this year, they've got Busquets, Alba, and Suarez, and the addition of Rodrigo de Paul in that midfield. So, I mean, I think it's going to be a really close game. Cincinnati has beaten them this season, and they've drawn as well. But I mean, Miami was missing players, so I think I'm gonna give it to Miami. But I wouldn't be surprised if Cincinnati wins this either. And like I said, Pep Guardiola, 1,000 game mark.
Congratulations.
Yep. He's approaching his 60s or something, and I mean, really good for him. He's won a treble with all three of the teams he's managed: Barcelona, Bayern, and Man City. So really glad for him. He's also made like some of the most like scary players in the world. I mean, he practically created prime Messi, Holland, Lewandowski. I mean, just like a bunch of big names in that
Is
list.
he coaching Holland's now that he's
Yeah.
making him scared? Okay, that
Yeah,
makes sense.
that Man City team. I mean, they've got Holland, Phil Foden. They had Kevin De Bruyne, best midfielder in the Premier League, but I mean, just unstoppable team. And going that is a good transition into my next segment. It's going to be just the top five leagues. We've got Arsenal on the top of the Premier League table, Napoli on top of the Serie A, the Italy table, Bayern, of course, Germany. PSG, though, however, the different season for them as usual. They're on top of the French league, but they are equaled with Olympique Marseille and Lille. So I mean, it's just a question as of if these injuries hold up, is their form gonna get better or is it gonna get worse? So it just I mean it's crazy how a team that's been dominant in the league for the past 13 years just kind of crumble, especially after they
Mm.
won the treble, the Champions League. I mean, it's insane. And with the whole Inter Miami thing, like I said a couple minutes ago, with Busquets and Jordi Alba, I mean, the end of their illustrious careers, that's going to open up. I mean, they're going to retire anyway, but that's going to open up a roster slot, and that's a big wage gap, that they can fill in. And the addition of Neymar, my favorite player of all time, if he goes there, that's just going to be just another Infinity Stone, if anything. So I just keep an eye out for Neymar if he doesn't sign his contract extension for Santos in December. But if he's not signing an extension, there's no way he doesn't go to Miami. I know he had links to Chicago of all places, and they were really close. But I mean, come on, like Ronaldo had contacts with Kansas City,
Mm.
so I mean that could mean anything. And going into just staying on the Miami kind of thing, the Barcelona game in Miami has been canceled by just the players and a lot of the fans were opposed to that, especially the fans that live in Barcelona and they're against the whole international game thing. Like I know the NFL has been really good with that. Um,
NHL just completed their international series this
mhm.
last week on the 24th and 26th. Wait, no, that can't be right. Whatever it was, they just finished their series in Sweden, splitting the series 1-1 between Penguins and Nashville, and it's pretty successful from what I heard. So,
Mhm.
congratulations, both teams.
Yeah. And I mean, it'd be cool to see Barcelona in the U.S., but like you're only really doing it for the fans that are in and around Miami.
Mm.
Like the international games for soccer are more like preseason for them because like obviously you've had like Man City come to North Carolina. They played at the UNC Stadium. And like the summer, like the preseason is for teams to do that, to
Mm.
extend their branches of like fan bases, whether it's in like Detroit or in like San Antonio or Miami or Charlotte even. I mean, we've had Liverpool player in the past couple of years and Real Madrid. And I mean, we also had the Club World Cup, so we had a bunch of top teams here in the U.S. So I don't know why they want to play in Miami. I mean, besides the fact that Messi's there and he used to play in Barcelona, but I mean, same thing as in Saudi Arabia. I mean, they've got the Spanish Cup there, they've got the Italian Cup, the Super Cup there. I mean, it just shows how greedy the leagues are for money. Like, you're so greedy that you're willing to ditch the country that the league's in to make more money. It just doesn't.
Hmm.
It just doesn't make any sense. Um, and it's been like that for the past 5, 6, or 7 years. So it's just sad. Like, where's the beautiful game gone?
Mm.
What are you laughing at, Ryan?
No, you'll see. You'll see later.
um, but going back into the MLS, really sad playoff exit. My beloved Charlotte FC. But I mean, good thing is we've had Idan Toklamadi get called up to Israel. Tim Ream got called up to the United States. Looking to see him play in the U.S. for the World Cup. Can't wait for that. At 39 or 40 years old. So, but another question is for Charlotte FC. Like we need to look forward to transfers. We just lost our best defender, Adilson Milano, to the championship in England. So we need to get a better center back because I mean we have Andrew Privet, but like who else is going to be there? Like Bill Tuiloma? I mean he's good, but he's not like out of this world. Like not like on the
Yeah.
level of Andrew Privet. So we need to spend some of that money that we got from Malanda and Patrick Ajimong and spend it on a good defender. And not to mention, I mean, we've got Wilfred Zaha for another 6 months once the season starts. And I don't know why. I'm gonna get some hate from Charlotte fans, but Pep BL, yes, he was maybe our best player last season, but he missed like half of the games. And I
Hmm.
mean, he's on loan from Olympiacos. I don't know why we're buying him. Like I get it, he's good, but when he's not playing good, trust me, he's not playing good. And like when he's not playing good, I don't know, he's just a completely different guy out there. And
Hmm.
I think that we should be using his wages on someone better. And not to mention, like, Ashley Westwood, our captain, he's getting up there in age. He's 35, 36 years old. So he's eventually going to retire. So why would we have to worry about spending all this money in one transfer window when everyone retires or just leaves and just start building now? It's just a big question there. And just a question for the fans as well. Like, are we going to see the same team we saw last year, or possibly worse, if we don't make any big moves? Which I hope we do. And staying on the North Carolina objective, NCFC, they unfortunately will be stopping their operations for the next 2 years. My boyhood club where I used to live, because they're going into USL Division One, which I think starts in 2028, like middle of 2028. So they basically told their players one morning, "Hey, we'll give you the last 2 or 3 months of your contract's pay, but after that, you're done. Like you're a free agent. You're on your
Hmm.
own. Basically, you better hope that a good team picks you up." And I mean, like I said, for Charlotte FC, if we want, I mean, a better, just basically players we got for nothing, you can get them,
Yeah.
because they're gonna want to play for a decent team, and you don't have to pay them anything. Like you're not gonna buy them. You just have to pay their wages,
Hmm.
you know, and which is probably gonna be cheap because they're probably gonna cut their wages so they can play the sport that they love. Why would you? It doesn't make sense that you would be a free agent and you'd want more money than you actually had when you were like a player for an actual team.
100%.
hmm And just for the last segment, the Canadian Premier League, amazing bicycle kick in a blizzard. So
100%.
if you have time in your day for like a minute or two, just take a look at it. It will blow your mind. I mean, it's an amazing bicycle kick in a blizzard,
Hmm.
mind you. And Ethan, you want to add anything about the Riverhounds?
100%. So obviously, I'm a hometown boy from Pittsburgh. So congratulations to the Pittsburgh Riverhounds for winning the Eastern Conference Championship in the USL tournament for the. I don't know exactly what it is, but they won nonetheless. They move on to the finals here coming the 22nd, which is the Saturday of November. So good luck to the Riverhounds. And also coming from us in Lincoln County, granted we are rivals with East Lincoln because we went to North Lincoln. We want to wish the best of luck to our East Lincoln brethren as they go on to the 5A state championship for men's soccer in Greensboro this upcoming weekend as well on the 22nd. So wish the best of luck to them. And without further ado, we'll be moving on to our trivia questions brought to you by our amazing producer, Mr. Ryan.
How's it going, guys?
What's
Let's
up?
go.
It's going. Of course, of course. Okay, so we're gonna do the same thing we did last time: easy, medium, hard. Which we've done this 3 times already. So hopefully this time
We're running out of questions.
Yeah.
I literally
Yeah.
figured out the questions this time. Okay, so we're gonna start off with an easy question. Which team won the UEFA Champions League in 2021?
UEFA Champions League.
Yeah.
In 2021, so in 2019 it was Liverpool. 2020 it was Bayern. 2021 it was Chelsea.
Yes. Okay, then we're gonna go on to a medium question. Let's do. I have a couple here I just wrote down, so let me look. Here we go. What German team is famous for dominating the
Bayern. Bayern Munich.
Yes.
I think I knew that one too.
Yeah.
All right. Let's do 2 hard questions because there's a couple on here that are pretty good. Which midfielder completed the most passes in the 2014 World Cup?
Oh my god.
Oh, jeez, man. That's
Okay.
hard
These
one.
specific ones are really hard.
Yeah. Is ooh, that's difficult. There's maybe two names I can think of, but geez, midfielder. Hopefully it's not some like niche guy,
Yeah, 2014 World Cup.
which is in
midfielder.
Brazil.
Mhm.
Is can I get a hint or
Starts with a T.
Oh boy.
is the surname start with a T or the first name?
First name.
First name. Oh my god. Oh, Thomas Muller.
No.
Oh,
Who
I get-
is it? Or do you want to guess again?
Okay, he played for Bayern Munich.
Bayern Munich.
Oh my god.
Bayern Munich.
Yeah, yeah, Bayern Munich. Yeah.
Oh my god, midfielder for Bayern Munich in 2014. That's the year that I'm assuming he's German.
Yeah.
He is?
Yeah.
Okay, so German midfield. Who was in that midfield? Thomas Muller.
2014.
2014. It's like when Bayern was like amazing that year too. Thomas Muller was in that midfield. Bastian
Can give you last initial.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the last name was a
TK, first name T, last name K.
dude. The most passes?
So it's the most passes.
Dude, I give up.
Tony Cruz.
Tony Cruz. Oh my god.
Oof.
Oh,
Those named ones.
he
are
played
so
for
hard.
Bayern for like a year. That's why I wasn't
Yeah.
thinking of
Yeah.
him. Okay.
Okay.
Hit me with another one.
I just got the same question we got the last time we tried to record this.
Okay.
Could do this one too. All right, let's do. Yeah. Which player holds the record for the most assists in a single Premier League season?
Mohamed Salah.
Ooh.
In a single Premier League?
Premier League, yeah.
It's not Salah.
No.
In a single Premier League season?
Boy.
Do you want me to give you the year?
Yeah.
2019, 2020.
2019, 2020. Okay. Could have been a Spurs player, maybe. Harry Kane?
No.
No.
Ooh. Legendary parlay better, by the way. Harry Kane, if you ever need an extra guy.
Ooh. Roberto Firmino?
No.
Okay, I'll try one more.
Okay.
Heung-min Son. Who
Dang.
was it?
Kevin De Bruyne.
In 2019?
Dude,
that the one
those
year they
two
wasn't
hard
really
questions were
Specific. It's really
brutal,
specific.
man.
I can give you another question too.
Okay.
Let me get you one that's not as.
I need to redeem myself. This is
Specific,
embarrassing.
yeah.
I'm
This is
gonna say,
embarrassing.
like, you'll see me in my later segment. I got them all right,
Yeah.
but holy,
Okay,
those were hard,
No,
man.
I gotta look for some not as specific. Okay, this one you could probably get. Which national team has reached the most World Cup finals without ever winning the
Oh my god.
tournament?
Oh, France.
No.
No? Dude! Oh my
Jeez,
god.
Baz.
Okay, okay. Without winning it?
Yeah, without winning it.
Okay. Without winning it. So I'm just gonna think of the past 5 World Cups. So
Think of like Northwestern Europe.
okay. So
To Germany?
okay. So last World Cup it was Argentina, France. France lost. 2018 it was France and Croatia.
France won, though, right?
Yeah, Croatia lost. 2014 Argentina and Germany. Germany won that. And then it was Netherlands and Spain 2010.
Yeah.
Spain won that. And then 2006, it was Italy and France. France lost that. And then 2002,
You said Northwestern? And it's not
Northwestern?
Northeastern, right?
Not Northeastern, Northwestern.
Northwestern.
Well, I think one teams we could take off the list of Northwestern would be like Finland, Norway, UK, any of the UK nations.
Is it up north or is it like?
Yeah.
Man,
I don't want to give you specifics because then you're.
I want to say it's Germany. I don't know why. Germany's been around so long and they've qualified almost every single year.
Is the Netherlands? It's Eastern, right? Somewhat Eastern.
No, Western would be the like France,
France,
Spain,
England,
England,
Germany.
Germany.
This, and you probably will.
I think
be
you
able
could
to
throw
guess.
Austria in there.
This is like really early on.
Okay.
So they had 3 runner-up finishes in 1974, 1978, and 2010.
Wait, runner up in 2010.
Mm-hmm.
Netherlands.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh!
dude, I was thinking of it.
That's
Okay.
close.
Okay.
All right, good job.
Yeah,
Neighboring state.
that was
was
that's,
hard.
That
I
yeah.
don't like those player questions because they're very specific.
Yeah,
But
I like
and it
those
makes you
ones.
think like
it makes you
throughout the
really
history.
go
Yeah.
back. Yeah.
All right.
But without further ado, I think that's a fun way to end the second or first segment of this episode 2 of the podcast. And we'll be right back after our first break here with the third and final segment. Welcome back to the final segment of the second episode of the Double E podcast. And
Yay.
today, we're really late, but when we were recording the second episode the first time, it wasn't late. So we might as well just keep talking about it since we kind of have it in our heads already. First of all, the World Series ended, obviously, a while ago now, with the Dodgers pulling off a upset on the Blue Jays in Game 7. And I believe it went to extra innings, which is also really fun baseball. But congratulations to the Dodgers, and congratulations to the Blue Jays for making it there. It's a huge honor. But obviously the big thing with the Dodgers, and it's been the big thing over the last 2 or 3 years for the Dodgers, is the fact that they have made this super team in which of the likes that rivals that of Olympic teams, like when it comes to the Olympics, with how many superstars are on their team. And a lot of that is because they don't have in the MLB something called a hard salary cap. And what a hard salary cap essentially is basically every team in a given league is allowed to spend no more than a set amount and no less than a set amount on their players for a total year. NHL, it's around, I think it's 90 million this year, so every NHL team has about 90 million. MLB does not have one. The NFL does have one. I'm pretty sure it's around 200 million when I was looking at it. NBA has one. It's around 100 something million. MLS has something similar, but it's not called a hard salary cap. It's called like a hard contract cap or whatever.
Yeah.
You would know more about that, but they have a salary like cap. You
They have
can't
a
go over
deficit,
this.
yeah.
Yes, they have a deficit. But the MLB obviously doesn't. And that allows for super teams like the Dodgers to spend literally $1 billion on a roster compared to teams like the Pittsburgh Pirates who have only spent $82 million.
Reminds me of a certain MLS team.
Yes, I think I know that MLS team as well. But obviously, a lot of the debate has come down to, okay, well, we're seeing what was going to happen when this was going to show up with the Dodgers, and a lot of teams are calling it unfair. A lot of fans are, because it blatantly is. When you're in a big market like Los Angeles, A, you have more money. B, you're going to make more money. And C, players are going to want to come there because it's a high living area. Like, that is a high want area.
Everyone loves it.
Everyone loves it, which is huge to bringing in players and profit. So when you have all three of those, there's no limit. But if you're at a team like Pittsburgh or Baltimore or Kansas City, where you're not like in a high living area and the profit value is only so much, you can't spend as much. So I just wanted to like ring your ear. Like, what do you think about not having a salary cap in the MLB and letting these teams in the bigger markets just rule the league without like regulation?
Well, I think it's just unfair, because
Mhm.
like you said, like the Dodgers, like everyone in the world knows the Dodgers, right?
100%.
But like, what's like a not well known MLB team?
Just a couple out of there from the bottom five teams in the salary cap from when I last looked. Miami, which is kind of surprising because Miami's the Marlins.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh Pirates are very low because their management won't spend money. And I'm not biased; it's literally a fact. Another one, I'm pretty sure the Baltimore Orioles are really low, considering they have a lot of youth talent, so it'll be interesting to watch them.
But like, I mean, when you like, everyone knows who the Dodgers are, especially after they've won it back to back, the World Series. But like they don't know the Marlins, right?
Nope.
So like, if I mean, you're gonna watch the best team play if you're trying to get into the MLB. So you watch the Dodgers, right?
Hmm.
And the Dodgers, I mean, obviously it's in LA, which I mean doesn't really matter too much, but LA already has so many big sports teams. You have
Hmm.
the Lakers. I mean,
Lakers, Kings. They also have another MLB team, Los Angeles
they
Angels.
have an NFL.
They also no wait, they have two teams in there called the Kings, right? Because they also have the MLB, not the MLB, sorry, the NBA team, which is called the Kings.
Yeah, they have two soccer teams. I mean, the LA Galaxy is more of in Carson,
Hmm.
California. But like, I mean, if you're a big team, like there's two sides of it. Because like, obviously, they won the World Series back to back, and they do get a bunch of money from that.
Hmm.
But like, even like before they won it, like they were still really popular, And it just kind of reminds you of like the Yankees when like like 100 years ago or like 80
Hmm.
years ago when they were ruling everything. And then now they're just mediocre, to be honest with you.
Yeah, they're a team that makes the playoffs, but they're not like
But people
shining
know them.
superstars.
That
Yeah,
everyone
everyone
knows
knows the
them.
name, the Yankees. Yeah.
But like that makes you think, will the Marlins ever be like that? Maybe in
Hmm.
300 years. But like it's just a popularity contest. That's all
Hmm.
it is. So like I don't is it fair? I mean, it's hard to debate that because like it's based off how your performance is. And I
Yeah.
mean,
And and I think a lot of the conversation about salary cap when I've had with MLB fans, the MLB fans don't know what a salary cap is. They don't know how it works. They don't know how it operates. So it's hard for them to say, yes, we want this and understand it. But the problem, it comes down to now is, okay, the Dodgers are obviously the number one spending team in the league. And surprisingly, the Mets are pretty close behind them for each season, the player contracts. But obviously those contracts they got to get paid. Players got to get paid because of rules. But if you're gonna say, all right, we're adding a salary cap, that salary cap, is got to be where the highest team's at now because those players have to get paid that set amount of money. You can't take away that money. You're like, oh, well, you could do the end of the contracts, but if anyone knows how contracts work in sports, one player could be on a end of a deal this one year, but another player has a 7 year extension, so they have to pay him for the next 7 years. So
mhm.
it's really hard adding an MLB salary cap now, but I definitely do think there's ways they could slowly integrate it, and I think that would be really good for them. Kind of like how the NHL is slowly integrating more money to their salary cap, but you know, I just think every sport needs a salary cap to avoid things like the Dodgers right now.
Yeah, I think it's also a way of politics in
Mm-hmm.
sports where like not like actual politics, but like it prevents teams from going overboard.
100%.
Because like if there was no salary cap in the MLB, they're just gonna be like the Bayern Munich
Mm-hmm.
of the MLB, where there's gonna anytime they see someone that's good, they can just buy them. And if they're not
Mm-hmm.
good, like if they turn out to not be good for the Dodgers, they can just sell them.
Yep.
So it's just like an infinite money scheme if you
Mm-hmm.
think about
It's
it.
like playing MLB The Show or NHL
With
26
like
or
a
what's it called? FIFA 26.
it's a manager career mode on like a
Yeah,
one
yeah.
billion budget.
Yep, it's literally like that. But I thought we might just talk about that a little bit because obviously the World Series didn't just happen as of now, but it did happen when we were talking
And
about
it's
it.
just something you should probably watch out for,
Mm-hmm.
especially in the next season, in the next coming months. So
100%. And just some things about baseball going around. I'm pretty sure the Baseball World Classic, which is like their version of the FIFA World Cup or the NHL equivalent to the World Championship, is coming up next year. So keep an eye out for that. USA versus Japan possibly coming back.
after we
Um,
lost,
Big names in the MLB have been moving around already from both the Dodgers and the Blue Jays, which are teams just in the World Series. So yeah, definitely, MLB hasn't died down after the World Series going into the offseason here. But without further ado, I think we will end our second official episode here, and we will quickly transition to the first recording of the first segment of the. God, that's a tongue twister. The first segment of the last recording will be etched on the back of this, so stay tuned for that. And without further ado, I think we're going to unofficially end this second episode right here, and we will catch you all next time. But before we do end,
oh,
let's get what was the view count on the last one? 125?
it was one. It was yeah.
125 views on this on either Spotify or YouTube. Yes, we have Spotify now. Link will be in the bio.
Link that. Yeah,
Yes,
we'll link that in the
make sure
bio. I
you
got
check
that.
it out. And we are trying to get to what was it? 125.
125 on either platform.
Mhm.
So either or, personal preference. But yeah, I think we're going to end it there. We will catch you next time. See you later.
Hey guys, we got to re-record the second segment all over again.
Without further ado, Ethan, I think we should kick off with hockey.
All right, yes, without further ado. Also, I'm just kind of going back to that before we jump in. That was a lot of appreciation, a lot of thanks got to go to our awesome editor and producer who will be featured later in the podcast with the trivia questions again for fixing the audio errors. And yeah, without further ado, I think it's time to jump into the world of the National Hockey League.
Let's get into it.
All right. So first things first, just get the quick point out of the way. NHL's got a big event going on this week called the Global Series, and similar to what the NFL does, where they kind of go to other countries and play a game, the NHL does something very, very similar. They take They take two teams, and they'll play two games overseas at that country of choice. And this year, they chose Stockholm, Sweden. So make sure, if you're bored on the 14th or 16th of November, which I'm pretty sure is Thursday or Wednesday and a Friday. I don't know the exact dates, but the 14th and the 16th. The 14th at 2 p.m. and the 16th at 9 a.m. If you're bored, check out the NHL Network, where the Pittsburgh Penguins will be taking on the Nashville Predators in Stockholm, Sweden. Swedish players that are playing for both teams from Sweden. I'm not from Sweden. From Sweden, actually, sorry. From Sweden, you have, on the Nashville Predators, you have Philip Forsberg and defenseman. I think his name's Wilsby. I can't remember his first name. But for the Pittsburgh Penguins, you could watch out for Erik Karlsson and Rickard Rakell. I don't think Rickard Rakell will play, but who knows? Maybe he'll make a surprise appearance. But just kind of jumping off of that, we'll dive a little bit into the Eastern Conference. As you know, in the NHL, there's two conferences. You have the Western Conference and the Eastern Conference. The Eastern Conference has been taking headlines as of recent for something pretty historic. So far, most teams are around 17 to 15 games in the regular season of 82 games. And as of right now, every single team but one in the Eastern Conference has a winning record, which means they're not under 500. And in any sport, that is just remarkable to think about. You know what I mean? Because the consistency across the board, the teams that were in the bottom feeders or in the bottom locker of the NHL are competing now this year with everybody else. And there's a couple teams, that are just standing out more than others in each conference. For the Eastern Conference, some teams that, were the bottom last year, Philadelphia Flyers, who took I think it was a 5th overall pick, which means they're bottom 5 in the league. They're 8-5 right now. The Ottawa Senators, the team who made the playoffs last year, got rocked in the first round. They're looking pretty solid again this year at 8-5 as well. The Montreal Canadiens, really, really young, really fast, and really talented team. I personally love watching them, and I'm a Pittsburgh Penguins fan. So yeah, they are 10-3. Just a remarkable start to the season considering where they were last year. New Jersey Devils, a team that missed the playoffs last year, looking a lot better with an 11-4 start without losing a game at home so far. Just looking excellent in the Eastern Conference. And going just to the Western Conference, Chicago Blackhawks, they had the 2nd overall pick in this last draft, I'm pretty sure, which means they were 31st in the league. They're 8-5. They're in a playoff spot. Anaheim Ducks, a team that was also in the top 10 worst teams last year, is 11-3 to start the season. Just a remarkable record. San Jose Sharks, the team in which I'm repping the jersey for today. Shout out Macklin Celebrini, number 71. 7-6. Just a remarkable start to the season for all of these teams. And they're just, I don't even know what to say. It's just so fun to watch. The complete flip of the script. These teams that sucked, they're good now. And that's just fun to watch in any sport, the change in tone. Mm-hmm. And the teams that are falling out, that are struggling, the Minnesota Wild, they were a playoff team. They're not right now. They're barely 500. If not, they have a losing record. Edmonton Oilers, a team that was in the Stanley Cup final last year and the year before, they're not in the playoff spot. Mm-hmm. They're not in the wild card. St. Louis Blues, they are the 2nd worst team in the league. They were a playoff team last year.
That reminds me of last season in the MLS. You had in the final for the MLS Cup final in December, you had the LA Galaxy, and then you against the New York Red Bulls. Mm-hmm. Both of those teams didn't make it in the playoffs. Yeah. LA Galaxy was the worst team, single-handedly the worst team in the MLS, almost in MLS history. They got knocked out. They were ineligible for playoffs 3 months ago, 2 or 3 months ago. They didn't lose anyone significant. They did lose, I think, their captain. He tore his ACL in the final or the day before the final. Yeah. So it's just sad to see teams who were once good and then the next season, they fall off that hard.
I know, and I mean, it's just remarkable. But I think a team that's surprising everybody. Granted, they didn't make the playoffs last year, but they're a team that should have been good this year, considering they added one of the best coaches in the world to their roster, and their roster's not bad overall. I mean, they have a really solid defensive names. Their forward core is pretty depth. I mean, like, they got the best goaltender in the league, Igor Zerkin. But they have not won a single game at home. They are literally 0-6-1 at home. They have lost every single game at home.
Wow.
Like, could you imagine buying tickets and just knowing that your team's going to lose? Like, that's insane. Like, that's just sad, man. But, and I think a lot of these teams that I mentioned that weren't in a playoff spot last year, but are in one now or have a huge winning record, like the Anaheim Ducks or the Montreal Canadiens, it's the young talent. And every sport goes through a drought every now and then or every league, I guess, because soccer is pretty global. And every league goes through a certain drought period of where young's talent is lacking. But right now in the NHL, the young talent is off the charts. Leading point scorers right now, 3 of the top 5 are all players under the age of 21. And that stat alone is remarkable considering of where it was a few years ago. Some names, just to throw a couple out: Leo Carlsson, Anaheim Ducks, 25 points. 25 points. In how many games do you think?
Jeez. I don't know.
16. He's way over a point per game. He's almost averaging 2 points per game. He's getting really close. Connor Bedard, 9 goals, 25 points for the Chicago Blackhawks. And then the biggest name, in my opinion, and reason I'm repping his jersey today, I'll talk about him a little more, is Macklin Celebrini for the San Jose Sharks. 24 points, 10 goals on top of that 24 point total. He's just looking unstoppable.
Where's Connor McJesus?
Connor McJesus, man, or Connor McDavid, for those of you who don't know, he's been struggling this year. I was gonna mention it maybe, but they took a really bad loss. They lost 9-1. 9-1 in the NHL is a big, big margin, and they just got manhandled by Nathan MacKinnon. It's nothing else. They are looking really, really questionable so far this year. They're lacking the goaltending depth. They're not getting a ton of goals from the players they need. They got a lot of room. They got a lot of room to work with when you got the best player, but it looks like that room's closing in.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it is not looking very good for them right now. They got to turn it around. But I think, you can't bet against the best player in the world and the second best player in the world, Leon Draisaitl. They'll figure something out. But, like I said, these teams that have dropped out, Edmonton, Minnesota, St. Louis, Florida, and the Rangers, it just makes you wonder what happens compared to these other teams. And I think it's because of the young talent right now. These teams that loaded up on the draft pool where they just drafted really good players like Logan Cooley, Ben Kindle, Dustin Wolf, Lane Hudson, Ivan Demidov, just to throw a few out. Mm-hmm. When you load up on young stars like them, you refine them in the minors, and then you bring them up in the NHL. This process is working. We're seeing it. Grand stage, the biggest stage of ice hockey in the world right now.
That reminds me, sorry to cut you off there.
No, it's insane to look at.
Mm-hmm. It reminds me of soccer. Charlotte FC is actually one of the teams that's known for this, but they'll scout players overseas. Like, for example, we got this kid over in somewhere in Africa. We sent our scouts over there. And mind you, we have everywhere in the world to scout. So it could be anywhere in Asia, Africa, Europe, whatever. But we came back, and this kid, we got this kid to come over to Charlotte, and we signed him for a professional contract. Mm-hmm. But we had the second division team, or I call it our low knee team, because if our players aren't doing good, or if they have an injury, we can just send them to the second team, which is the Crown Legacy FC. Mm-hmm. And if they're coming back from injury, we put them there to play a couple games, because they play twice a week or something. Mm-hmm. And that's how they get their form up. So when you have a team like that, it just helps with the youth academy, because if you bring someone over from Europe, 100%. It gets them familiar with the atmosphere of playing in the United States, because it's so different.
The American Hockey League is the minor league associated team with the NHL. We're seeing the players coming up from there just being superstars. Mm-hmm. But, a lot of these players, too, in which I've listed, they have never, played in the minors in the AHL. They've just came straight in and were superstars.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how they're doing it. Like I really don't. We haven't seen this since the early 2000s. And for those of you don't know the early 2000s, I mean, some names that came out of there: Marc-Andre Fleury, Sidney Crosby, Steven Stamkos, Alex Ovechkin, Zdeno Chara was a little bit in the 90s, but he was still definitely a name to throw up in there. Patrick Kane. How could I forget about Patrick Kane? Jonathan Taves, Duncan Keith. I mean, just we're seeing these players show qualities of these superstars, future Hall of Famers for sure. But it's just insane to see, these star players. It's so fun to watch right now because of the speed and the talent that we're seeing. So fun.
Mm-hmm.
And, I just think the team that resembles that the best right now, Anaheim's looking good with Cutter Gauthier, Leo Carlson, and Olin Zellweger, but I really think, the Montreal Canadiens are the team to watch. I know last podcast I said Utah's really fun, but Utah played Montreal. I watched the game the entire way through, went to overtime, really fun game. Would recommend watching the highlights from it. But Montreal is just so much faster. They're just stronger too. These kids are just extremely strong with puck handling and puck possession, and they're not afraid to do things in which are, I guess, like not usual. They will make the stretch passes. They will do the 360s. Defenseman Lane Hudson, my favorite defenseman to watch right now, he will not be afraid to drop from the blue line, which is kind of like the offsides line in soccer,
Mm-hmm.
and just rush the net. He's not afraid to do that. Why? Because of the speed, the back checking ability, the forecheck. It's just so fun to watch the young talent just on betray. I mean, and I think a lot of this too is because last podcast I mentioned the Olympics.
Mm-hmm.
The Olympics are
Coming
up.
up, yeah.
A few names, for Team Canada that they need to consider: Macklin Celebrini and Connor Bedard. How do you tell no to these guys? I mean, they're leading the points in the NHL. They're leading in goals. These guys are so talented.
Mm-hmm.
But when you look at these rosters, I said Sidney Crosby and Connor McDavid earlier. Are you going to cut Sidney Crosby for Connor Bedard?
I mean,
You can't.
I think they're gonna take age into account just because, well, age and all that. But I mean, skill slash talent. I mean, you can't overcome that.
Oh,
I mean,
100%.
like you just can't overread that. Like, oh, like this person's late 30s, like 38 years old, right? But they have the talent. So it's like, do you risk an older player that couldn't come out with injury? Like, do you like think like is the age part more concerning than how much their skill is?
100%. And I just think the Olympic roster got two more slots than the global series in which happened last year. So you can carry two more players in theory, but it's just like I said last podcast, these players are fighting for their lives, kind of like they're fighting in the playoffs or fighting for a playoff berth
Mm-hmm.
because they want to make this Olympic team. They want to represent their team. Players who definitely is in the consideration now, but if we would have looked last year, we would have just kind of threw him off as just quite literally a goon. Like all he's known for is just fighting and just being physical. But now he's showing that with his physical game, he can score goals, he can make plays. Tom Wilson. So I mean, Team Canada and Team USA, they have a lot to consider with these goaltenders, with these forwards and defensemen of who to carry and who not to.
Mm-hmm.
But Connor Bedard, Macklin Celebrini, they're both Canadian, so I think Team Canada's got more of a okay, who are we bringing? And the deadline's coming up. We're recording this on the 10th of November. The deadline is in a month. I mean, it's coming in December. We are probably maybe 30 days away from today for where the final Olympic roster's got to be finalized. But man, it's insane to watch these players that you would kind of cast aside just becoming these superstars, the
Mhm.
new faces of the league, you could say, because obviously Ovechkin and Crosby are getting up to the point where sadly they're going to leave us. But
Mhm.
I think if they do leave, the face of this league of these two players will be fine because right now it's just insane to watch. I don't even know who would be the new face. I don't know if it's Celebrini. I don't know if it's Bedard, Hudson, Demidov, another name, Michkov. It's so hard. But it's so fun to watch.
Reminds me of football where like you just don't know who's gonna be in the Super Bowl. Like this season, like
100%.
yesterday we saw the Bills lose to the Dolphins,
Bills lost to the Dolphins yesterday. The Steelers, who beat the number one team in the
lost to
Colts,
the
manhandled by
the
the
Chargers. Panthers lost to the Saints.
Yeah.
I mean, Like I would have thought they'd be doing somewhat good. I mean, not much of a surprise here, but Patriots over the Bucks.
Oh,
I mean,
I don't. I thought that was pretty interesting, personally.
I, I
I
mean,
think it
I,
would just
I
be.
think I think both teams have a good chance of
Mhm.
winning their divisions. But I mean,
Man, it's just the script writers for all three major professional sports this year. I mean,
mhm.
amazing. They're just doing an amazing job. I don't know who you are or where you are, but just keep it up, man or woman. I don't know.
It's like a
Just keep it up.
movie.
It's a movie that you don't know where it's going. It's
Mhm.
so fun to watch. But just the last thing I want to talk about. Obviously, I mentioned the Eastern Conference already, being where only one team, and there's 16 teams in each conference, just to give you a general idea. So that means 15 teams have the same amount of wins and losses, or more wins and losses in their conference. And when it comes to playoffs and wild cards, that is an insane feat to just consider. And the playoff race, I would argue, has already started. You cannot lose games right now. And I think that's huge. The schedule's closer. It's more compacted because February is when the Olympics happen. So most of February will be cut off. And that's a huge month in the NHL because that's usually the trade around the trade deadline and when you're making your final moves of like, okay, are we a playoff team or are we tanking for, and this year it would be Gavin McKenna.
Mhm.
But, with everything being moved up so close, these teams are having to fight for their lives so early. And, I think a lot of that is just, I don't even know how to describe it because it's been so long since we've seen the NHL and the Olympics go hand in hand. It's definitely something that's unpredictable, but that I feel like that could be the most fun part about it.
Mhm.
So the NHL right now is just extremely fun to watch, and I would highly recommend watching it, whether it is the Montreal Canadiens or maybe a team that's struggling like the Buffalo Sabres, because these teams are fighting for every minute that they're out there to get that 1 point or the 2 points to move them up in their division. But just highlight three teams before we end the hockey segment to watch out for. Got to throw out the Anaheim Ducks. Big surprise. They're 11-3. I couldn't believe it. They had a big win against Winnipeg at home. They also had a big home opener win a few weeks ago against Pittsburgh, making a real statement considering Pittsburgh had won 5 games up to that point. Another team that's fun to watch, the Montreal Canadiens. I mean, just 10-3. I mean, they have so much young talent there. So fun to watch. So fast. I think that is the team to watch. If you want to watch hockey and you want to know what hockey is about, that's the team to watch right now. It's the Montreal Canadiens. And then another one, real quickly, got to throw out New Jersey Devils. They haven't lost at home, which is an amazing record on its own. And, they're looking really strong with Jack Hughes and Luke Hughes, both brothers. But they're also getting big points from Dawson Mercer and Jesper Bratt. They're getting big goaltending from Jacob Markstrom. That team's finally clicking, and I think they'll definitely be a fun team to watch. Later in the year and hopefully the playoffs, because I really think they'll be a good team in the playoffs
Mhm.
this coming year. But yeah, I think that's all I got for that. I don't really have games to watch out for this week because, like I said, it's just so unpredictable. I would just watch any of them at this point.
Yeah.
So yeah, without further ado, I'm gonna cut it back here to our editor and producer with our 3 trivia questions for hockey segment. So what do you got for me, Ryan?
Okay, so for this, I'm going to do 3 separate questions. We're going to do an easy, medium, hard style.
Got you.
All right, so let's start off with easy. We have the first one. Which team plays at Madison Square Garden?
New York Rangers. The
Yes.
team, before we move on to our next trivia question, has not won a game at home this year.
It's
They have
crazy.
lost every single game this year. So
Are they
have
supposed to be
wild.
decent?
They're supposed to be decent. Yeah, exactly my point. They are 0-6-1. So if you're a Rangers fan out there or want to catch a Rangers game, maybe look see where they're playing outside of MSG.
Reminds me of when I drafted Jamar Chase and he was doing horrible
Oh,
for like the
yeah.
first 4 weeks.
It only took another Joe quarterback to
Yeah.
But yeah,
All right, next one's going to be a medium one. This might be a little bit harder.
Let's
Let's
get it.
see. I got a couple ones here I'm going to look at. Oh, okay, this one's good. Which team was originally known as the Quebec Nordic
Quebec Nordiques.
Nordiques? I'm sorry, I pronounced that
Iconic.
awful.
So that is the Colorado Avalanche.
Yes.
They are actually they used a jersey this year with the Quebec Nordiques. They do it every year. It's some alternate, similar to what the Carolina Hurricanes do with the Whalers uniforms.
Mhm.
But the one thing that was really cool about the game this year they did was with the Quebec Nordiques logo, they made this really, really nice jersey going back to the old jerseys from when they were in Quebec. And they played the Carolina Hurricanes, but the Carolina Hurricanes were in their Hartford Whalers uniform. So they literally kind of, without officially going all the way back to like the 80s and 90s, they
Mhm.
went back to the 80s and 90s for one night, repping both uniforms. If you're watching it live on TV, the scoreboard, you know how it shows like the logo of each team? It
The
showed them as Hartford and Quebec. They didn't say Colorado or Carolina, they said Quebec and Hartford, which I thought was a really sweet detail.
yeah.
Okay, so for hard questions, I'm gonna ask two because I have two pretty good ones.
Oh
Who was
boy.
the first NHL player to score 50 goals in 50 games?
God, that's a hard question, man. I'm gonna assume it's gotta be a Montreal Canadian. And, I'm just gonna throw a shot in the dark. I'm gonna name the guy who literally has a trophy named after him for the most goals scored in the regular season, Mauricio Rocket Richard.
Dude, you got
Is it right?
Yes,
Oh, let's
sir.
go.
Yes, sir. Okay. Next one. This one is probably gonna be easy. Which NHL team has the longest active Stanley Cup drought?
The longest Stanley Cup drought. Oh man, they get ripped every year. They get kicked when they're down every year. But honestly, they have no excuse for not winning in the playoffs. The Toronto Maple Leafs. I mean,
Yes,
they
sir.
just
That's
gotta
it. That's it.
they gotta do something, man. They lost Mitch
Good
Marner,
luck,
and they're struggling. A team I didn't mention, but they are struggling. They have a winning record. They're 8-7, but when you look at the talent, they gotta be better than that.
Yeah.
Especially letting one of your best players walk and assuming you're gonna be fine. I mean, it's not looking
It's not
very
how it
fine.
goes.
It's not how it goes right now, man. It's looking rough. But that's all I got for hockey right now.
Let's see which one works better.
Yo, it's-
All right.